Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and let's get right into today's video. So today is Scary Stories Saturday, so I am going to be reading some scary stories in today's video, but I do have a PR package and another package here that I do just want to talk about and unbox with you guys before I start the scary stories. So I'm first starting off with the PR package. This is a PR package from Burano, and it is their new nail glue plus the nail art charms. I was so excited for this. I just could not wait to open it to see all the decorations and just try out a new nail rhinestone glue. So first, on opening this box up, you do get the little card, and this is like a little instruction and tip card. It's very simple. It's just rhinestone glue. It has pictures and some words to help you better understand how to use the rhinestone glue. This rhinestone glue is UV LED cured, so it will not dry on its own. You will need a UV LED nail lamp. So I'm just quickly taking everything out, but I will go further in depth with everything. Starting here, we get a pair of small tweezers. These were so small and cute. I love them. We also get 3 little decor packs. Super excited for this. I love nail art. I collect nail art. I have so much nail art, so I was super excited with getting this box because it had the nail art included, which I think is so amazing. I love nail art so much. I could keep talking about nail art for days. But that first one I showed, it kind of just has like a mix of little I guess they would kind of be like Fimo slices. These are some fruit and vegetable, I guess. Yeah, fruit and vegetable Fimo slices. I used these ones in today's video. I loved all the colors. I think that's what really captured my eye, is all of the colors. It's so pretty. I also did not know what these were at first. They are cherries. Like, look at how sweet. I love them. I didn't know what they were at first, so I had to use my tweezers and take it out to see what they were. But super cute. I love all of these decorations. And the last little pack here are some charms. Honestly, I feel like the first 2 items would more or less be encapsulated in a nail, and then these ones would be on top of the nail. But this does include 2 rows of different things. We get these super cute little iridescent bears. I love these. And then we also get some iridescent butterflies. And these are also very cute. I use these in today's nail set. I really loved this little kit. It was very nice and great for beginners because, you know, nail art, drawing out nail art may be hard, but adding some rhinestones or just decorations to your nails is a lot easier and very helpful for when you're first starting out. So you also get 2 bottles or 2 tubes of Rhinestone Gel, and I will show you how to use that in the video, but I'm not really going to be talking about it since I will be reading some scary stories. But it's very simple. You just apply your dotted rhinestone glue, place your charm or Fimo slice or whatever, and then you cure in your nail lamp, and it will last for many weeks. It is a very strong rhinestone glue, and I really like it. Next, we have this glitter polygel kit, which is also from Burano. This was not a PR package, but I did win this from a Burano giveaway back in October, I believe. And I haven't used it yet, so I'm like, let's just tie it in with this video since Burano did send me that PR package. So we do get some nail forms first, and then we also get the little instruction pamphlet. This does show how to use dual forms, how to use the nail forms, and then also how to use the nail tips. Very nice. It also has pictures, so that is great for beginners. This box was definitely packed with everything you need except for a nail lamp for your nails. Like, I was so surprised with everything in this. We also get some hollow and iridescent butterfly sequins. I can't tell you how many of these I have. That was probably one of the first decorations I ever bought when doing nails, just because they're so cute, but at this point I have so many of these sinkin butterfly sequins. The next little thing here, we get like a little dampen dish for your slip solution. I actually really liked this. I liked how it came with 2 and also it had like a lid on it. Very convenient. I feel like I'm gonna start and use that more now. We also get a 180 grit hand file and a polygel brush, of course. I didn't really like the quality of the brush or the hand file, but it's alright. Everything else included, it's totally alright. Obviously, the polygel brush is brush on one end and spatula on the other. Very simple and basic with all polygel kits. We also get a 3-in-1 base coat. This can work as a base coat, a nail glue, or a slip solution. And that is a 15 ml bottle. Really like that. And then we also get a top coat, which I think is 7.5. And then we get some slip solution, but I did not get any slip solution. The bottle was completely empty. It didn't spill, so I'm assuming it like evaporated or something. Not 100% sure, but that's all right because I personally just use 91% isopropyl alcohol for my slip solution. We also get some nail tips. I actually really loved this so much, even though they were a very short size. And I personally do not really use this length anymore, but I really did love that they included so many different ways to use the polygel. I also went ahead and bent these nail tips. They were kind of flimsy and pretty bendable, but it's okay because if you have your polygel in it, it would be all right, but I wouldn't recommend them for press-ons because they were really bendy. We also get dual forms, which I don't like dual forms, but dual forms are included for anyone who does like dual forms. These are the slightly curved. They were not really curved at all, but that is just how those looked. And honestly, I really loved how Burano added in 3 different ways to do your nails. You could use the dual forms, the nail forms, or the nail tips. So I really love that they added all 3 of these in case you don't like dual forms or you don't like nail forms. You could use the nail tips or vice versa. I really loved this kit because of that, and I was so happy that I won this giveaway. Now for the best part is obviously all of the polygels. In this polygel kit, we do get a good variety of polygels. This set does include 8 different colors of polygel, and they are all 15 ml bottles. I went ahead, swatched them off camera just to further move the process along. It does include a clear polygel, and then it also includes mostly glitter shades, but it also has 2 different shades of pink, a more lighter pink and a more mauve pink. I really loved all these colors, but I did use number 6 and number 2 in today's video. Alrighty, so now I'm gonna move right into the nail set and right into the scary stories. If you are new to this series, this is a video that I post on my channel every Saturday where I sit down, I do my nails, and I also read scary stories at the same time. This is a new series on my channel, so if you do enjoy this series, please make sure you give a comment and a like. That way I do know to continue doing this series. So now let's go ahead and start the scary stories. The first story, it does not have like anyone who wrote the story, but I did find it on Pinterest, and the title of the story is "So I Lost My Phone." Last night, a friend rushed me out of the house to catch the opening act at a local bar's music night. After a few drinks, I realized my phone wasn't in my pocket. I checked the table we were sitting at, the bar, the bathrooms, and after no luck, I used my friend's phone to call mine. After 2 rings, someone answered, gave out a low, raspy giggle, and hung up. They didn't answer again. I eventually gave it up as a lost cause and headed home. I found my phone laying on my nightstand right where I left it. And that was that story. It was a very simple story, but I was looking on Pinterest because I know that I used to like read scary stories late at night on Pinterest, and they used to give me the chills. And I feel like these shorter stories that kind of like leave you like you're just reading it and then you find out the like what is wrong right away, like how someone answered her phone but it was on her nightstand, and then she went home and her phone was on the nightstand. Like That's just creepy and scary to think about. So I really enjoyed that story, and it also gave me some chills. So I thought that was a great story to read. The next story is also from Pinterest, and the title of this story is The Statue. A few years ago, a mother and father decided they needed a break, so they wanted to head out for a night on the town. They called their most trusted babysitter. When the babysitter arrived, the two children were already fast asleep. So the babysitter just got to sit around and make sure everything was okay with the children. Later that night, the babysitter got bored and went to watch TV. But she couldn't watch it downstairs because they didn't have cable downstairs. So she called them and asked them if she could watch cable in the parents' room. The parents said it was okay, but the babysitter had one final request. She asked if she could cover up the statue outside the bedroom window with a blanket or cloth because it made her nervous. The phone line was silent for a moment, and the father who was talking to the babysitter at the time said, "Take the children and get out of the house. We don't own a statue." The police found both of the children and the babysitter slumped in pools of their own blood within 3 minutes of the call. No statue was found. That story also gave me some chills. I was actually able to sit down and find some stories that I actually enjoyed or that gave me chills this time around. If you watched my previous Scary Story Saturdays, I've read some stories from Reddit, but I quickly had to find those, and I didn't even really get to read over them to see if they were actually true scary stories or kind of give you chills. But this time I was actually able to sit down and find some scary stories that I liked or gave me chills. And both of those stories so far have been from Pinterest, and they are shorter, scary stories, but I really like them because the way they have that chill factor aspect. This next story is also from Pinterest, and it is a little bit longer. The title of this story is "My Mom Wasn't Making It Up After All." So a while back, my mom lived in a house in Brindley Mountain, Alabama. The landlord to this place was super anal about making sure they did no remodeling or repairs. He wanted nothing changed. It was odd to say the least. After a while, my mom and her boyfriend started saying they think the place was haunted by a ghost of a small girl. They said sometimes they would see a shadow of a girl walk from room to room, or hear playing in the back when nobody was back there. And it sometimes sounded like a small child was sobbing but couldn't tell where from. Me being an atheist at the time, I kind of blew it off and I was like, yeah, right, haha. So anyway, this was towards the end of me and my ex relationship. When we split up, I started living with my mom until I got on my feet. We shared custody of our daughter Alexis, 50-50. So one week she'd stay with me until Friday, and then she'd go with my ex until the following Friday, and then she'd come with me. She was about 2 going on 3 at the time. It was Saturday night and I was on the computer. It's probably 2 in the morning. I was just surfing music. The computer desk was in the kitchen facing a wall, and on the same wall was the doorway that led to the den and the bedrooms. So if anyone came out of the bedrooms to get something from the kitchen, they would walk right past me. Alexis was always getting up in the middle of the night, getting into trouble. She'd raid the fridge or knock something over while climbing up on something. She liked to get up in the middle of the night and raid the kitchen because she knew everyone was asleep and she could get away with it. So as I said before, this night I happened to be up at 2 a.m. on the computer. I see Alexis sneak into the kitchen with my peripheral vision, and she froze when she saw me and just stood there. I didn't look at her or pay her attention. I figured she'd seen me, she knows she's caught, and hopefully will go back to bed and go to sleep without me having to make a big deal of it. So she stands there for about 3 minutes, and I can see her the whole time, but I make a point not to look at her so she will just go back to bed. She eventually turns and walks back towards the bedroom. It was dark in the room, but I could still see her turn and leave. Everything was dead silent after that. So after about 15 minutes, I got the feeling in my gut that I need to go check on her because she's probably up to no good. In 15 minutes, I should have heard her climb back into bed or rustling through her toys. Hearing absolutely nothing normal meant she was up to no good. She was trying to be quiet. Every parent gets that feeling in their stomach when a kid is up to no good, and I got that feeling, so I went to check on her. I stood up and walked into the next room that led to the bedrooms. It was pitch black. I couldn't see a thing, and that's when it hit me. Alexis was with her ex that night, not with me. I had been used to her being here all week. That it just slipped my mind. So the girl I saw wasn't her. And this story was by Descendant. This one was really creepy because at the beginning of the story, when her parents were saying about they knew like the little girl, they were seeing like a little girl ghost, I could just picture that since she had a little girl, something was going to be up at the end of the story, like that they were going to end up being friends, like the little girl and the ghost. Or I did not expect this ending, but it was a really good ending. I thought it was very scary and like creepy, and I just really liked the way that she she thought it was her daughter, but then her daughter was with her ex, so it just made her scared because she knew then that was not Alexis, and that was a little girl that her parents were talking about that was a ghost, and she didn't believe at first, but then she believed when she saw it. So I really like that story. The next story is also something I found on Pinterest. The title of this story, Something Was Wrong. One morning, John Sullivan found himself walking along the street downtown. He could not explain what he was doing there or how he got there or where he had been earlier. He didn't even know what time it was. He saw a woman walking toward him and stopped her. "I'm afraid I forgot my watch," he said, and smiled. "Can you tell me what time it is?" When she saw him, she screamed and ran. Then John Sullivan noticed that other people were afraid of him. When they saw him coming, they flattened themselves against the building or ran across the street to stay out of his way. There must be something wrong with me, John Sullivan thought. I'd better go home. He hailed a taxi, but the driver took one look at him and sped away. John Sullivan did not understand what was going on, and it scared him. Maybe somebody at home can come get me, he thought. He found a telephone and called his wife, but a voice he did not recognize answered. "Is Miss Sullivan there?" he asked. "No, she was at a funeral," the voice said. "Mr. Sullivan was killed yesterday in an accident downtown." I really wish that it had a picture of what he looked like what the other people were seeing. I'm assuming that he looked like he got maybe in a car accident or hit by a car or something like that, and I'm sure he had like blood all over him, or something looked weird about him. Not so much maybe he didn't really look like a ghost or like a scary figure. In my mind, I feel like he was covered in blood. He looked like he just had an accident, and then he's like just walking through town not realizing that he's dead and that he like came back or something. I don't know, but I really like that story because I just thought, I don't know, just like the other ones, it was kind of chilling and like interesting because the guy's just like walking along minding his business. He didn't know how he got there. He's trying to get home and everybody's just running away from him. Like, can you imagine how you would feel if you were just walking around and like you don't know what's wrong with you or how you got there or even what time it is, and everybody's just like looking at you like, you're scaring me, So that's one reason why I liked that story. The next story is a very short story, but when I read over this, I was like, oh my god, when I read it. So I just thought I would share this with you guys. This one I also found on Pinterest, and the title of this story is My Daughter Learned to Count. My daughter woke me up around 11:50 last night. My wife and I had picked her up from her friend Sally's birthday party, brought her home, and put her to bed. My wife went into the bedroom to read while I fell asleep watching the Braves game. "Daddy," she whispered, tugging on my shirt sleeve, "guess how old I'm going to be turning next month?" "I don't know, Beauty," as I slipped on my glasses. "How old?" She smiled and held up four fingers. It is now 7:30. My wife and I have been up for almost 8 hours, and she still refuses to tell us where she got them from. So, if you do not understand the story, like when I read it to my boyfriend, he had no clue what they were talking about, like where got what from what. But she held up four fingers, not her own fingers. She had other people's fingers, and she was holding up four fingers. So I was like pretty amazed at that, and I was like, oh wow, I did not expect that. But I thought that was a good little short story and a scary little short story, because how did that 3-year-old, because she's turning 4, get four fingers that weren't hers? So here is the next scary story. This title is Crybaby. Late last night, I woke up to the sound of someone crying. It was an eerie sound and surprisingly loud as well. Although I wanted to get up and go check it out, I was a bit scared and tired, so I ignored it by hiding under the covers. Today at breakfast, I told my roommate about it. That was me, she replied with a tone of fear in her voice. What a relief, I thought. I was crying because I saw a thing watching you while you were asleep. Alrighty, so now for the final story. This one is from Pinterest, and the title of this story is The Old Lady. One day at a shopping mall in the afternoon, a woman was coming out of the mall from a shopping spree. She was in a happy mood. She had gotten to her car and loaded her stuff that she bought into her trunk. When she was done loading, she shut the door of her trunk and saw an old lady standing by the passenger side of her car. The old woman said, "Would you be a darling and give me a lift home? I don't have a car and I was walking all day." The woman said, "I'd be happy to." So she unlocked the door for the old woman. As she started to make her way around the car to the driver's side, she started to feel uncomfortable. So when she got in the car, she looked in her purse and said, "Damn, I don't have my credit card. I'm going inside to see if anybody found it." The old woman said, "I'll wait here for you." The woman left to go look for help. Then she found a security guard and told him the situation. They went back to the woman's car, and the passenger door was wide open. On the seat of the car was a shopping bag that the old woman had been carrying. Inside the bag was the old woman's dress and a gray-haired wig, along with a huge butcher's knife and a video camera and a roll of duct tape. So that was a pretty creepy story, kind of, because if you think about it, there's some comments here, so I'm going to read them. It says, "But why did the murderer leave?" Like, the old lady was actually a murderer. She was, I'm assuming, dressed up like an old lady. Probably wasn't an old lady, but she was dressed up as an old lady. That way, somebody would be more likely to say, "Yes, I will give you a ride," rather than just an average person. I feel like an older lady, somebody would say yes to give a ride to, but really it wasn't an old lady, and I'm so glad that that lady was feeling uncomfortable and thought of something fast enough to go inside and get herself out of that situation, or she would have ended up being killed because she wasn't actually taking an old lady home. She was putting herself in a death trap, pretty much. So that is all the stories I'm going to be reading today, because I am finished with the nail set. I really loved this nail set, and it was a very spring and summer nail set. I really hope that you guys enjoyed watching me create this nail set. I will have all of the products I used linked down below, but as always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.